Okay, I got another project in the shop. This is a great tire flat. This is a box blade. Well, some people call them a box blade. Some call them a carry-all. Some call them a scraper. But this is a hello, Roxy. She ain't done with her morning hugs. Oh, gotta have a hug in the morning. Anyway, such a nice doggy. Anyway, I bought this. I've been looking for one for a long time. This one, I'd like to have one that's 8 foot wide or 8'6" you could haul behind or haul on the trailer. This one's 10 foot. But I didn't pass it up because it seems to be built pretty heavy. I don't know. I think it's a pretty nice old blade. It's old. It's not perfect. It's got nice heavy plate. You can see it's been used. Good griefish. But anyway, I got to put some hoses on the cylinder. I've got the guy I bought it from, he's owned it several years, I guess, but he put a piece of pipe on this cylinder to block it up, which for transport. I don't know why he didn't just put a pin through this hole. But anyway, I've got to get that off of there. He said he was using this with a Farmall. He had a Farmall M he was pulling it with. I don't know how in the world. But he said the cylinder's got motor oil in it for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe just to keep it from. But this isn't the cylinder he was using. He was using a different cylinder. But anyway, I hope it's a good cylinder. I don't have any idea. But I've got to get some tires that match on it. I've got a big one and a little one. At least the little one holds air. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm fiddling around working on today. So I've got some hoses and a fitting I'm gonna put on here. It's just one of them deals. I don't know. Probably paid too much. But like I say, it's one of them. It's a piece of equipment. It needs a cutting edge on it. It's been pulled pretty hard. There's a little bit of a bow. Most any of these I've ever seen that are older have the hitch modified or something done to it. I did notice there's a crack. And it's pretty good sized crack in this plate here. This is where all the torque from the cylinder, you know, twist that up. I think that could be, I don't know, we can get it fixed. But I want to kind of set it down and see what it looks like if I move it up and down, see if it's moving much. That crack looks like it's been there for 20 years, so might not be that big a deal, but I think it could be modified. We could probably put a plate in here underneath. I guess I better get that blocked up in the front. But anyway, that's what I'm up to this morning in the shop. It's Saturday. Just to kind of give you an update. My videos that I put out on the digging are usually 3 to 4 weeks behind, maybe more. I've got some more video coming out on the, what are you looking for? Huh? You want this? Oh, good grief. What do you need? Just tensions? Anyway, back to videos. I got videos. I've been digging weekly on some apartment footings, a big parking garage, several projects going on. So Eric and I have been working on Eric had me build a house pad over at Stillwater, so we've been working on it, and it's been dry. It's been so dry out we can't get any dirt with any moisture in it. We've been having to import dirt and add water, so been dealing with that. It takes the fun out of it whenever you gotta add water and mix the dirt up. But we're getting it done. We got the house pad done, but I've still got a shop pad. I didn't do hardly any video on that job, so there might not be much on that one. It's been so dang hot, and just setting up cameras and doing the filming of something like that when you're already aggravated and hot and tired and don't want to mess with it. I hope you understand that I don't video everything, and it's a lot easier to set up. You know, I have a hard time just setting up cameras and taking the time to do that kind of stuff. It's neat, it's cool, and the guys that do it well. I'm just not that good at it, but hopefully we'll get some rain today. There's a little bit in the forecast. Still got a shop pad to build over there. I keep hoping it'll cool off. It's September 24th, I think, today, and we're supposed to be back up to 95, I think. And we've been dealing with 100-degree weather all year since June, so not been a fun summer. Been hotter than I've ever seen it. Hotter than a lot of people have ever seen it, I think. We set a lot of records this year. But anyway, it's dang sure. The mornings and evenings are cooler now, so it's feeling a little bit more like fall. But I'm usually not ready for fall, but this year I am ready for anything but 100-degree heat. And we could use some rain. We haven't had hardly any rain in 2 months. Everything's about to burn up. So anyway, that's the update for this week. I'm gonna try to do better at videos. I noticed that Jeff Anderson says if you put a dog in your video, then you get more money. So we got dogs in videos now, by golly. Right, Roxy? Are you the star? Anyway, I gotta love old Jeff. He understands, and he studies, and he researches. Pretty smart guy, actually. Person could probably learn a thing or two from him. Anyway, having to wear my Elite Earthworks hat because my Jeff Anderson hat is getting dirty. Jeff, you need to send me another hat. I need some more merch. You gotta pay for that sticker on that back of that advertisement. It's always fun when you're sitting here talking to a camera that's not recording. I thought I pushed the button. Anyway, this sludge is what come out of this cylinder. Just the guy told me you might want to flush that cylinder before you use it. Good advice. The cylinder is in good condition. It really looks like a nice cylinder. I don't think it's been used a lot. I mean, the pins are all really tight. Almost like somebody bought it and never used it much. So 4x8 cylinder, good heavy duty one. There's a little bit of a nick on that. Oh, it doesn't. Just a shiny spot. I don't know what that is. 4x8. It's kind of got a small rod in it, but good cylinder. So I'm gonna clean it up, wash it out, parts washer. I'm not gonna put seals in it. I'm just gonna put it back together and run it. These tie rod type cylinders are real easy to work on. I mean, they're just as simple. I mean, if you're changing out these seals, you do have to pull the piston off the rod, but not doing that today. So we're just gonna wash things up, put them back together, and be done with it, hopefully. Okay, got most of it kind of cleaned up. There is a spot in this barrel. I'm not sure the camera's gonna pick it up, but kind of a spot in there. I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna take a hone and hone that a little bit if I got one. I think it's just set with water in it. A little bit of rust formed in there. Piston, I thought I got that clean. Piston don't look bad. I mean, it's got a little bit of, these cylinders are not built like a industrial cylinder. You can see some scratches there. That's probably from that rust. These are not built like an industrial backhoe cylinder or dozer. They're built for economy, and for farm use they work pretty well for a long time. You can get better cylinders, I think. These are probably what is this? Cross cylinder made in Lewis, Kansas. I'm not saying they're a bad cylinder, I'm just saying they're not, they don't have the piston wear rings on them like a cylinder that's made to use all day long. These are usually up and down, and maybe at the end of a row or end of a field you're running them up the other end, and then turn around and run them back down. And so the cycles on these are a lot less. So they're good cylinders. I'm not saying they're bad, but they just not built quite as good as industrial stuff. Well, crud, I don't have my stones are messed up on my, I'm just gonna kind of take the rough edges off of that. It'll work fine. I don't really want to run to town to get stones for my, I don't remember how I broke them. I was running it on something. This is cleaning up. It's just got a little bit of rust, surface rust there a little bit. I don't think it's deep. But like I said, if this cylinder would have set for another couple years in the shape it was in, it would have been a pile of junk probably. Get that a little more. Says this cylinder was tested to 2,500 PSIs, and it's a 4x8. Put out a lot of pressure. The old case tractor, I think the rated pressure on those cases is like 1500 psi on the hydraulic system, so they're not a high pressure. That's not a high pressure system on the old case that I got, but a lot of the newer tractors, 2500 is probably the standard. It's ducking a little better. I think it'd be okay. Anyway, I don't remember which way was which. I don't really think it matters, but I got some hydraulic oil in my oil can. Roxy's over here eating crickets. Are you starving? You must be hungry. Some oil in that cylinder. Clean rag here. Always a good idea if you sand something out to put some oil in it. And then wipe it with a rag. You'll find a lot of metal shavings come out that way. That oil will pick it up and float it out of there. Solvent usually won't. It's kind of weird. Soap might, I guess, I don't know. That's why motor oil's good, or hydraulic oil's good. Floats the stuff out. All right, I think you can see this here. We got the dog in focus, right? YouTube loves their doggies. Especially corgis. Level that up just a bit. Like I say, these are easy to work on. I'm gonna line that up with the marker. We need this on top. And make sure your forks you're using on the same side. And these cylinders have actually have a port for the top or side. That one was full of crap. I mean, just plugged full of rust and junk. Oh, get in there. Well, that's about that. And we'll tie bolts back in and tighten them up. And I don't know what the torque specs are on these. I figure we'll get them come on, there you go. I figure we'll give them a few ugga duggas. It'll be all right. Not with this mill or DeWalt. This thing's getting weak on me. It's not putting out the torque it ought to be. So we're going to use the old Matco. And I do have another impact wrench that my friend Tim Ebert sent me. I still use. But this one's out and handy, so that's the one I'm going to grab here in a minute. If you can actually see what I'm doing or not. But, just putting nuts on these bolts. I sure hope we get some rain today, but I don't think we're going to get much of nothing. got some clouds, at least it's cooler. Been a pretty depressing summer. It's just really been hot, miserable. Okay, I'm gonna get some channel locks. So that I can hold that tie bolt and tighten them. Actually, I'm gonna use the DeWalt to start these, because it's a little bit less aggressive. That Matco, it gets with it. So be sure your plates are straight, your tie bolts are straight. Okay, now put some fire on it. I think it'll work, maybe. It should anyway. I'll put the hoses on there and give her a shot. There's the old 930. This is this is a story for another day, but this is a couple of Rio F20s that Eric and I bought for some reason. I don't know. I kind of got us into the deal. He didn't really want to buy one, but he told me he did, and then he told me he didn't, so I don't know. But anyway, this is a R190. These are F20s. This is an R190 that my dad gave me. Sadly, the engine is locked up. It's got a 450 inline 6 red diamond. I've got a video on this one coming out. This is the truck that I bought the water truck for. I thought it would have a DT 466 in it. I thought that'd be a good swap for this truck. Turns out it has a V8 and it runs pretty good. I don't want to put a DV 550 in this truck. I'd rather save it for something better, because it's going to be a tractor. It's not going to be just a you know, water truck. So anyway, we'll get to it someday. These two, on the other hand, if somebody wants a rat rod, we'll make you a deal on some Rios. I got the little disc hooked to the tractor, so we're gonna get it unhooked and we'll see if she'll fire up this morning. Tractor actually has a neutral start switch that works. thing I want to do is I've got a, what do you call it, yoke goes on this hitch. I need to take it off another piece that I broke off the other drawbar when I was plowing one day, and bolted on here. That way I've got a, because this only has this got a single tongue, so I'd either have to use a clevis like this, or if I put the yoke on, I can actually put that in between the yoke and the drawbar and just single pin. I think it's a safer setup that way. Anyway, that's what I need to do next, and we can get some hoses hooked up and give her a shot here. I don't know how much this thing weighs, but I'll tell you what, it's a load. It's a lot of steel. Heavy son of a gun. We might be able to slide that hitch over a little bit and get her to, well, actually we can move that over. There we go, we're getting close. This yoke is probably not the best for pulling. It's really made for running a hay baler, believe it or not. Because the way these tractors are built, this is a lot farther from the, well, let me back up. The newer tractors had a better uniformity between the PTO and the drawbar. So the PTOs on these tractors are a lot higher than, say, a 4020 or a 10, even a 1030 has more of a standard. The newer 930s, the 8 speeds, they had a standard PTO ratio from the hitch. So to overcome that, Case recommends when you're running a hay baler or anything, you're supposed to put it on this top yoke, and that gives you a little bit closer. It's still not quite the same, but it's better. So this yoke's really not made for drawbar work, but I'm not really planning on killing the tractor with it today, but I may want to come up with another one. This will work fine on most bigger tractors. They already have a double drawbar or a yoke on a drawbar. So probably what I should do is really put some spacers in there to keep this from popping up and down, but I don't know. We'll see how it works first. Like I say, it's a heavy son of a gun. If you went and bought a new one today, I bet it'd probably weigh about half that, unless you really got a good Garfield or one of them other brands. Anyway, let's see what kind of pins we got here. I think we need a bigger one than that. I think I got a bigger one than that somewhere. Well, I screwed up when I tightened this fitting in. I think I got it a little bit too tight. Put a crack in it. That's a stupid mistake. Okay, so I got a 3.5 inch by 8 bore on there now for my plow. I actually got case ends on this one, so I have to use these outer two, which is this lever. Okay, we'll try this again with a new battery. Alright, we can go down. I can actually put a little down pressure on it. Not a lot, but a little bit. So, looks like my cylinder's going to work. I might need a little air in the tire. We might take it out and play with it just a little bit, maybe. Everything seems to be working pretty good on it. Let you in here and see the all action. I thought it might be. Dang it. Well, I forgot how deep that hole was. I can't believe I got it out, actually. It was in there pretty good. Anyway, I like this box blade. This is going to be handy. I need a new cutting edge. I think maybe the Cat 12 grater blades will fit it. I've got some old ones I might try to use on it. They're pretty worn out. I might just get some new ones. They're not that expensive. Anyway, I got the butt in the dirt a little bit. Anyway, I had this pushed out with the dozer and it silts back in. This is kind of my borrow pit for filling holes around the shop and around the house. This used to not be near this deep. It used to be just a little canyon, and I've widened it out. But this is some nice material. It's got a little sand in it. It's got enough clay though that it'll really pack, and I've done a lot of fill with it. There are some red clay spots up that hill. You notice it starts jerking. It's hitting that red clay, and that red clay, when it's dry, is pretty tough to move. This here is nice silty material that has, if you mix this up with a little bit of that clay, which what it is it washes back down that hill and it collects in here. And I've kind of got it to where it settles out in this bowl. I'm sure I'll lose some of it if we get a big rain, but I eventually want to put a pond in here, but I'm not quite done pulling dirt out of here yet. It costs a lot of money to move dirt when you don't really need to, but that's Saturday's kind of fun. Well, I about got my tractor stuck too. There'll be video on that. Anyway, the blade is definitely not perfect. One of the problems with it is there's a brace that's supposed to come up from down at the middle of the blade up to here, and that's supposed to keep that back side from getting pushed out. And I really didn't think this one was in that bad a shape, but and the top part's pretty straight, the middle of it's fairly straight, but the bottom of it is pushed back, oh, maybe a couple inches, I don't know. The problem with that is if I put new cutting edges on there, they're probably going to be lower, because when that middle pulls back, it goes down. So one of the things I'm trying to figure out is it worth trying to pull that back into shape? And if so, the best way to do it, the best way to do that might be to turn it upside down, cut that angle iron that's on there off. And I think that's what they got on there, but that's what the blade bolts to. Maybe cut that one off and put a heavier one on there, like a thicker gauge angle iron, and then go ahead and put the brace back up to the hitch. So I probably spent too much on something that's not that great, but it is what it is. I got it bought now. This is still going to be cheaper than building a new one. I mean, if you bought all the materials just to build this, you'd have more than what I've got in it. Not counting all your time and goofing around with hubs and wheels and all that crap. So it's probably going to be okay. It's just aggravation. And when I looked at it, I knew it was bowed a little bit. I just didn't realize it was that bad, I guess. So anyway, it's gonna be all right. I don't really need to put new cutting edges on it right now anyway, so we'll get to it when we get to it. That right? Yeah, ain't that right? That's right. This is how Roxy gives me a hug every morning. Silly.